Joining me now, we have Tom Meredith, who's the executive chairman of West Red Lake Gold Mines, exploration company in Red Lake. Tom, how's it going?
Going well, Ed. How about you? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah, so you just came out with some news on some recent drilling. It looked like some of the best drilling you've had in a while.
Yeah, we did have good results. We started drilling in a new zone. In previous years, we'd be drilling on our best known zone, which is one which has 3 former producing mines on it. At one of those locations, we have a 1 million ounce resource of 7.5 grams. And now,
so you have a 1 million ounce.
We have a 1 million ounce resource. Yeah,
okay.
At the Rowan Mine, the old Rowan Mine. So we call it the Rowan Mine resource. It's almost 1.1 million ounces of 7.5 grams.
And I correct me if I'm wrong, but you're tied in with Goldcorp on this project.
We are. Goldcorp is our joint venture partner on the Rowan Mine property, which is the biggest part of our property and the most prospective part of our property.
So when you say you have 1 million ounces, you got a piece of that, and Goldcorp has a piece of that.
Right. We're 60-40.
Okay.
We're the operator.
Yeah, but that's still a lot of gold. That's a billion. Well, with Canadian dollar where it is, that's like a million ounces is like $1.6 billion or something like that.
Yeah, that's a lot of metal value in the ground.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's hot ground, Red Lake.
It's good ground. It's very good ground. It's historically a very good camp. That camp is what made Goldcorp.
And this new area, is this joint venture ground or no? Not?
It's on the same property. It's a zone that the zone with the 3 mines on it runs east-west, and the one that we just drilled, called the NT zone, runs northeast, and it actually intersects with the main zone, the east-west zone. So we're a few hundred meters south of the Rowan Mine resource, and we started at the south property boundary and started drilling from there. We're heading northeast up into the property, and we got good results there, and we're going to continue drilling that zone. It's about 2 kilometers in length. The first kilometer is very straightforward geology, which is fairly predictable to drill. The second kilometer is much more complex. It has porphyries and other things in it. That's in what we call the structural intersection area, or some people call it the Hinge Zone, and that's where the bigger prospects are to find an elephant. But we're going to start with the easier part first and follow it into the more promising area in terms of high prospectivity, but the first kilometer is much more predictable.
You know, I often hear executives from mining companies, and especially in the exploration area, talk about Hinge Zone, but that's a generic term, right?
It's a generic term.
That's where two trends hit? Is that?
Well, it can be where 2 trends hit or 1 trend bends. And the importance of a hinge or a fold is that it creates an opportunity for a bigger pooling of resource, gold. So if you're in narrow zones that don't fold or bend or hinge, then your zones are going to be fairly narrow. But if you have a hinge, it creates a much bigger opportunity.
You can go through both of them, right?
It can go through both. It creates an opening for a much bigger deposit. Is what it does, and that's what happened at Goldcorp at the Red Lake mine, and that deposit's roughly about 100 feet in diameter of high-grade material, and it took that company from roughly 50 million market cap to 8 billion on one zone. That was found in a structural intersection type environment, or a hinge type environment.
Yeah. Now the ticker is RLG.
That's right.
Geez, I have a mental lapse here. I was going to ask you something about the stock, but how many shares?
We have 130 million shares outstanding.
And I know in the past we've chatted, and I've done some work with you, and in the past, you have some pretty loyal long-term shareholders.
Well, we do, and many of them came along with me from the previous company which I ran, which is VG Gold, where we had a project in Timmins. We developed it from 60,000 ounces up to about a couple million ounces, and then sold it. That company sold for roughly $200 million.
Wow.
And so our shareholders were happy, and they were happy with the way that we developed the property and the resource. And so many of them one of the key ones asked me to come and get involved in this company, and many others have followed me. So we're just trying to do the same thing, create a success for shareholders.
And your land package, it's sufficient that you're not going to run out of targets. So there's like all kinds of places to drill there, isn't there?
We have, in total, we have a 12 kilometers east-west strike length, and then another 2 kilometers where we're drilling now on the sort of the northeast strike length. So we have a lot of strike length to drill. There's lots of room to drill. And you can find a very valuable gold deposit inside an area of a couple hundred meters in length.
Yeah, they say that a lot of times you get great mines in 1 or 2 claims, right? Like.
Yeah, in less than a claim.
In less than a claim, especially in this area.
Right.
This is elephant country.
It is, because what you get is very high-grade shoots that can be, you know, when I mentioned the Goldcorp one, it was in a mine that they've been mining for 50 years, the Dickinson mine, and then in the mine, deeper down, they found this one high-grade shoot that was probably about 100 feet in diameter, and that created a huge amount of value for shareholders. So that's a fairly small, discrete deposit in size, but huge in terms of creating value for shareholders.
Now I noticed that when you released the news on this last press release, the volume skyrocketed those next days or two, right?
Yes, that was nice to see. It was nice to see that there was strong interest.
It's starting to change a bit. You get the sense of it, but it's turning slowly.
The market's turning slowly, and I think in some ways it's correlated to the interest rate market. As interest rates stop going up and level out and then start going down, that's going to have a very good effect for the gold market.
Yeah, it looks like if they get too aggressive with rates here, that could put a kibosh on growth, world growth, and they don't want that to happen.
That's certainly the concern, and they've run into that. The rest of the economies around the world have already slowed down.
You're looking at everybody's warning. Everybody's It looks like we've hit a wall.
Some of the air is coming out of the balloon for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are you drilling right now?
We just finished. We're just starting to plan our next drill program, and we're just going to continue marching along the zone to the northeast.
Are you funded for that drill program?
We have some funding, yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's nice to have funding.
Yeah.
And what's your, well, I guess it does appear that gold will move contra to the interest rate direction.
Yeah, it's like the bond market. I mean, the bond market treats gold like a AAA zero coupon bond. So when interest rates go down, gold goes up, and the bond market money goes into it. And then the rest of the money starts to follow into the stocks.
Now, are you familiar with this company, Great Bear?
Yes.
They're in the Red Lake area, aren't they?
They are.
But how far away would they be?
We're about 15 kilometers west of the Goldcorp's main mines, and they're about 15 kilometers. Okay.
So
south.
it's all it's
in the same camp.
Yeah, and I think they're capped about 175 million, something like that.
They're over 100 million now, I think.
Yeah, maybe 125. But the point is, you're capped right now at probably what, 18, 20 million or something like that?
Yeah, like 15 million.
15 million. Yeah. Wow.
So it shows you they had a couple of 2 or 3 good drill holes, and that brought a huge amount of interest into
like Bonanza stuff, right? Bonanza stuff.
Yeah. And they're hunting for an elephant. And that's what's got their story going strong. And I mean, we have potential for an elephant in our property too. Plus, we already have 1 million ounces, and where we're drilling now, we think we can add to that. So,
yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Now I know you're a tenacious guy, and you don't give up.
No, giving up's not part of the equation.
No. But look, the way gold does look like. The charts are starting to look constructive. And I thought we were going to start moving in maybe last May, and went to sleep. But it does look like things are starting to get a bit. So maybe some stagflation is coming into the picture.
It could be, but let's put it this way: the capital looks like it wants to flow into our sector now. It's just starting to, and that's the key. When capital flows into our sector, then
for sure
we get the sale.
Sure. Now, you probably can't be specific, but are you talking to any bigger mines? Or, I guess, you're already locked up with...
we're partners with Goldcorp.
Yeah, you're already talking to...
They're fairly big, yes. Yeah.
Tom, really appreciate you coming on the show. and we're going to leave it there. And would like you to have you back down the road a bit to finish telling the story.
Well, thank you, Ed. Would love to do that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Tom Meredith, Executive Chairman, West Red Lake Gold in Red Lake.